People think there is some kind of stability. I don't care where you live in the world, okay? I can tell people here, being that I am a resident slave of the United States, this is coming down. It's unraveling very, very rapidly. People need to be holding. I'm preaching to the choir, to both of you guys and everyone else who follows your work. They know this is where they need to be. I don't personally even think about the short action price movement of gold or silver at all, or even commodities overall, because we're going to see a surge in the price of commodities pretty much across the board. I happen to believe that gold and especially silver are massively undervalued based on ballooning global debt and everything else that's going on, and again the COMEX and the NYMEX and everything else that's going on with commodities across the board. So yeah, sure, $80 sounds reasonable to me, but the bigger picture is, I'm a macro guy. That's really what I look at, and the macro picture tells me, though we haven't seen anything yet. We could spend the whole time talking about this. All right, look, man. Silver's the place to be. It's my favorite asset of all time. There's no doubt about it. Everyone knows it. I've been talking about it for over 10 years. We haven't seen anything with regard to the price action of silver based in any currency right now, as far as I'm concerned. Again, look, how I imagine this here is, okay, we understand what's happening all over the world. We have central banks have gone wild. They're not going to stop, especially here in the United States. We've never seen anything like this in the history of this nation. We're going to see currency debasement, devaluation on an epic scale, more so than we can imagine here moving forward here. The United States is it's done, and that's a real reason, or one of the real reasons why we're seeing the price action of precious metals rise along with Bitcoin, cryptos as well. The world is realizing that the United States is in a lot of trouble, and we're starting to see metals wake up. But the deal is, it's the COMEX. I call it the COMEX, the COMEX here.
Behind the scenes, silver isn't just undervalued, it's manipulated. Major exchanges like the COMEX and NYMEX aren't trading real silver, they're shuffling paper contracts, artificially suppressing prices. These derivative markets are heavily leveraged, masking the real demand for physical silver. Regulatory agencies, meanwhile, turn a blind eye. But insiders say this won't last. The system could collapse the moment just one large contract demands physical delivery. That's the trigger. Once the market can't meet that demand, prices could explode, exposing the fragility and fraud at the heart of the current commodities system.
They don't trade in real assets, obviously. This is, it's a paper derivatives market, leveraged to the beyond your eyeballs. They don't trade in real assets. Most people have no idea, but that's really what's going on. Until that rigging stops, unfortunately, we're going to see the price of gold and silver remains somewhat shackled. What's going to bring this whole thing down apart at the COMEX or the COMEX, however you want to look at it here, is just when one, let's say, large contract is settled in the hard asset as opposed to whatever currency is, or the dollar, most likely this what they're going to settle in here. Once just one does that, the whole thing will unravel. It's a crime. The NYMEX, the COMEX, these are crime syndicates of the highest order. It really is a crime in progress every day. You've got regulators turning the blind eye to all this, and until that stops, again, the only way, look, it's the regulators aren't going to be the ones that put this stop. It's going to really have to be a moment where there is a demand for the physical asset. It's only a matter of time, in my view, and then we're going to see these institutions, the COMEX and the NYMEX, collapse, and then this is all going to play together. How it's too easy for what I do. My job is very easy.
Looking ahead, the macro outlook is unmistakable. Many analysts foresee a dramatic realignment of the Dow-to-Gold ratio, possibly hitting 1-to-1. That implies either a collapse in equity markets or a surge in gold prices, or both. If gold hits $8,000 and the gold-silver ratio compresses to 10-to-1, silver could soar to $800 an ounce. These aren't just wild predictions. They're based on decades of historical data, inflation cycles, and capital flows. The disconnect between paper assets and physical reality is unsustainable. Eventually, money will chase value, and that's where silver enters the spotlight.
I just look at the most likely places, cash, how it's going to move through the market. It's really not a hard thing to predict. We have decades and decades and decades of data to look at. So if we realize that cash moves through the markets and the economies of the world at a predictable pace for the most part, and in a way, if we realize these things, it's too simple to understand where this eventually will go. These are real things. They are hard assets. The world doesn't want this paper illusion anymore. It's frankly sick of it. And people are waking up to what's happening here at the COMEX and the NYMEX and all this other stuff again. So look, with regard to the price action of these things, this is how it's going to play out. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever. With regard to the gold Dow ratio, we're going to hit a 1-to-1. We have to determine where the bottom of the Dow is. I think it's going to bottom out somewhere around 8,000.
Mainstream media insists inflation is under control, but real-world data tells a different story. Inflation is running hotter than official numbers suggest, 15% or more in many places. Governments continue to spend recklessly, inflate asset bubbles, and cover up the damage with cooked statistics. In the U.S., small businesses are collapsing, the middle class is shrinking, and industries are decaying. Globally, similar symptoms are visible. Tariffs, like those on copper under recent U.S. policies, further strangle growth. All of this paints a clear picture. The current system isn't just flawed, it's unraveling in real time.
The world stock markets are beyond la land. We have this mechanism here right now with this big, fat, ugly, beautiful, disgusting abomination of a bill. What's it going to do? Vast debt expansion, the same thing happening around the world. What's that going to do to the world markets? The stock markets of the world are going to now trade on a higher multiples expansion cycle. I've been telling people this for 1,000 years. Cash moves out of places where it should be going into and into places it has no business going. So what this mechanism does is just create epic distortions across the spectrum of asset classes. And unfortunately, you see not only the price suppression here of gold and silver continue to play out despite hitting record highs. And this is nothing. This isn't even the opening salvos as to where we're eventually going. But I believe we're going to see a Dow gold ratio of 1-to-1, meaning $8,000 gold at a minimum. It could be more than that, and an 8,000 Dow, and then we could potentially get a 10-to-1 gold silver ratio. So we're talking about $800. So if we get about 80, I mean, we could all. I think this is, it's that's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. Then 140, then 260. Then there's no doubt. The system is unraveling.
People worldwide are waking up to the fiat illusion. The U.S. dollar, long seen as a safe haven, is losing its credibility. The recent downgrade of U.S. debt and the weakening dollar index, DXY, are signals of deteriorating trust. Yet all fiat currencies are falling together, a collective plunge masked as relative stability. The truth is, governments are inflating away your purchasing power. Historically, every empire follows this path. Print money, fake data, deny reality, until collapse. And when collapse comes, real assets like silver and gold are the lifeboats for those who saw it coming.
People think there is some kind of stability. I don't care where you live in the world, okay? I can tell people here, being that I am a resident slave of the United States, this is coming down. It's unraveling very, very rapidly. People need to be holding. I'm preaching to the choir, to both of you guys and everyone else who follows your work. They know this is where they need to be. I don't personally even think about the short action price movement of gold or silver at all, or even commodities overall, because we're going to see a surge in the price of commodities pretty much across the board. I happen to believe that gold and especially silver are massively undervalued based on ballooning global debt and everything else that's going on. And again, the COMEX and the NYMEX and everything else that's going on with commodities across the board. So yeah, sure, $80 sounds reasonable to me. But the bigger picture is, I'm a macro guy. That's really what I look at. And the macro picture tells me, though we haven't seen anything yet. And I don't think we're going to be, in the bigger picture here, being a macro analyst guy, I don't think we've we're going to see something we've never seen before.
Right.
I really believe this. I mean, although we have seen, it's pretty rare, a Dow par gold, 15 to 1, gold ratio. Absolutely. I believe will happen. And I think in an extreme situation, it could go to 10 to 1. There's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that silver is going to outperform on the grandest of scales.
Yeah.
You also have to understand that people who are used to it is the silver is volatile. It's much more, gold very stable. Silver trading price action is it's volatile. So that scares people a lot of times. You see some pretty profound, when you got the COMEX here dumping paper contracts onto the market, you can see some pretty substantial drops in both gold and silver. But silver is always the one that I think rattles people. But in my perspective, and from everything I look at for as far back as you want to go, I've never ever once swayed from saying that I believe that silver is the most undervalued asset, and I think people should load up on it. Load. At least these are escape hatches from the financial Armageddon that we're in. I mean, people ask, where is it? It's everywhere. People can't survive. Middle class wipe out. Small business here in the United States can't survive. You got President Trump here, doesn't know which way he's going one day or the other. Again with this whole taco trade thing, something I said wouldn't happen, it actually did again. I can't believe it today with China, with the whole chip sector now getting goosed. You can't make this stuff up, but this is what's happening here in I don't know what it's like about you guys, but I can tell you here, it's like nothing we've ever seen ever before. And the United States, and this is a big reason why we're seeing the price action we're seeing with the gold and silver, and even I would say as far as commodities overall, what happened to copper recently with Trump's tariffs here in the United States. We're paying 50% tariffs on that, and this is going to, this is massively negative for the economy here. The consumers are already in so much trouble. Our industry is dying, and this is why people are looking to, the dollar is no longer a safe haven anymore. I mean, what happened to U.S. debt? We just lost our AAA rating here. You have our U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent, the peddler of U.S. debt, blowing it off. But this is a big deal, and the bond market is reflecting that. The dollar, the Dixie, has been below 100 now for quite a while. All currencies are collectively falling. So, you weigh one against the other, well, they're all falling. Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of a deception on an epic scale here. But then again, what does it bring us all back to? It brings us back to the core, to what real money is. And then that's why I say thank God for shows like yours. The problem is with people, they don't even know. People don't realize that they can buy this stuff. I have people tell me till this day, Greg, do you mean I can actually go out and buy a piece of silver or gold, not as jewelry? Yes, you can. People don't know. This is so dumb. I don't know what it's like by you, but this is the American public has been so dumbed down. They can't even walk nor chew gum at the same time. I'm not lying to you guys. I don't know if you've been here before. If you guys were to walk around and try to talk to some people, you'd be aghast at what they think, believe, the delusion that they've been placed in here. It's not, and none of this is, of course, by accident. This is all on purpose.
Silver is more than an investment. It's an escape hatch from financial tyranny. While gold attracts headlines, silver has unmatched upside and accessibility. Still, most people don't even realize they can buy physical silver outside of jewelry. That's how deeply the system has dumbed down the public. But this ignorance is changing. As inflation bites and trust in governments fades, people are turning to tangible assets. Silver is volatile, yes, but that's the nature of suppressed markets. Once the dam breaks, silver won't just rise, it'll skyrocket. The financial reckoning is coming. Are you ready?
I could explode right now because, this is with the garbage that we're getting here too. It's the same thing, and it's all unexpected. Oh, inflation is creeping up. No one saw that one coming. You got to be. All these numbers are fake. The data is fake. It's 100% propaganda. I don't care where you live in the world. These governments are fist feeding us nonsense. I really don't know how anyone who can hear this cannot see through the garbage. I mean, this is not what's happening here. 15, 20%, that's really where inflation is at. And it's not going to stop. Do we believe, anyone sitting here, us three included, and anyone listening, that wherever you live in the world, your government is just going to all of a sudden return purchasing power to the currency, restore purchasing power to the consumer, or are they going to sit here and dissolve it further? This is how, look, man, this is the first sign of a collapsing global economy. You go back and look at history, goes far back as you want to go. They all do the same thing. They start to vastly inflate, fake the data, and then tell everyone everything is fine, of course, until it isn't, until people finally wake up and then it's too late for everyone. But again, no, I don't think anyone's buying it. Maybe there are some, but even people that I talk to who are completely disconnected and they have no idea, they go, well, these numbers, they're not right. Doesn't make sense to me. Of course it doesn't, because it's all propaganda. And I don't, especially here, we got our inflation numbers just today. No one expected it to tick up, and it's only at 2.7% highest in the last X amount of months, and the people just believe it's going to get better. There's no way. And there's not, what bothers me mostly about this is there's no roadblocks to it. There's especially, well, I don't care where you live. There's no one talking about we need to drastically raise rates to return purchasing power to the currency here. We need to stop spending. We need to do something about debts and deficits. It's not, that's the polar opposite. And people keep being fed the same garbage and recycled nonsense year after year after year. And I guess, I don't know, it's like they get smacked across the face and then they ask for more. I don't get it. When are people going to start to realize and say, I've had enough? You guys are smarter than I am, so you guys let me know.